Lyney and Lynette were announced all the way back in the original Teyvat Chapter Storyline trailer. They look like they are going to have a key role in the Fontaine story, judging by the fact that they are the ones highlighted for Fontaine's section. And with our adventure to Fontaine coming up next, I thought now would be a great time to talk about them. Because when I first watched the trailer 2 years ago, Lyney and Lynette were the characters I was the most excited for. Puppet characters or 2-in-1 characters always have the most room for creativity by developers, but they also have the highest chance to break the game. And not always in a good way. I've played a lot of fighting games, and in those games, puppet characters are a staple. With these types of characters, you, the player, usually control one character fully, but the actions you take with the character you control influence the behavior of an independent AI-controlled character, and that AI-controlled character usually acts as a sort of puppet. An example of this would be Zato from Guilty Gear or Ice Climbers from Super Smash Bros. These characters are usually harder to play because you are basically having to control two characters at the same time, but they feel very rewarding because after you master them, you essentially are fighting with two characters. You have now turned what was supposed to be a 1v1 into a 2v1. But what I am wondering is, will Hoyoverse actually take this approach with Lyney and Lynette? There are a few ways to design a 2-in-1 character, but basically what they all boil down to is a fun version and a boring version. Hoyoverse could design Lyney and Lynette in a way where you are basically controlling two on-field characters at once, which would be amazing. I mean, imagine the possibilities. For example, they could have each character assigned to the press or hold version of every ability, and they could make a separate cooldown for each character. Lyney could be controlled with all of the press skills, while Lynette is controlled with all of the hold skills. So this is basically what I mean. Someone like Zhongli has a press version of his elemental skill and a hold version of the elemental skill. So what I'm trying to say is that each of these versions controls a different character. So let's say Lyney controls all of the press skills, but then the way that you control Lynette is through all of the hold skills. Doing this opens up a lot of different possibilities. With this, you could even change what the charged attack ability is usually used for. So let's say you're clicking your mouse, this is how you normal attack on a PC. Now normal attack, that functions completely normally, but since Lynette is controlled through all of the hold abilities, when you would hold the normal attack to charge attack, on top of the charge attack just consuming stamina and doing damage, you could also use it as a repositioning tool. Okay, so there's no way that this is not going to be corny, so just bear with me. Let's say that this is Lyney. This is the character that you mainly control, and this is Lynette, who is controlled through like the AI. So let's say you're normal attacking as Lyney. Oh god, what am I doing? So let's say that you are normal attacking as Lyney and Lynette is positioned like right here on the field. But then whenever you charge attack, it repositions Lynette to wherever Lyney currently is. This is a way that you can still have full control over both characters, but it is also a pretty simple way to control both characters so it doesn't get too hectic, especially for mobile players. For the skills, pressing E would activate Lyney's elemental skill, while holding E would activate Lynette's elemental skill. With this layout, they could even design combos for the character. Like you start with press E followed by hold Q into press Q and end with hold E. It would probably be difficult to learn, but once you got the hang of it, they could be very rewarding to play. But those types of characters are harder to design and balance. Since you are controlling two characters at once, it can allow for some crazy stuff if you aren't careful. Crazy stuff like the wobble. This is the Ice Climbers from Super Smash Bros. Melee performing the infamous technique that the community called wobbling. Wobbling is an infinite that guarantees a kill, and the only requirement for it is to grab your opponent. This sounds very broken, and that's because it is. While it was legal to do this in tournament, it broke so many people mentally. Look at Mewtwo King shaking his head in pure sadness. He is in utter shock that this technique even exists. Luckily, wobbling is now banned in competitive play, but you can see how easy it is to mess up a 2-in-1 character. They are the characters that are most likely to be riddled with bugs and glitches because they are unique. It is a lot harder to design a character that works in tandem with a separate AI-controlled character. Luckily, in Genshin Impacts' case, there is no PvP element in play here, so balancing the character will be much easier. But it will still be much more difficult to program a character like this as opposed to a normal one. So while I really hope that Hoyoverse creates a fun 2-in-1 character, it is much more likely that Hoyoverse will take the easy way out. This is the boring way to design a 2-in-1 character. The boring way to make a 2-in-1 character is to design a character how you normally would, but then change the animations so that now two characters are on screen. That's it. Just imagine if when Xiangling bursted, instead of her lighting her polearm on fire and twirling it around her, instead Guaba was summoned and he lit her polearm on fire. Oh my god, 2-in-1 character! How did they do it? Oh my god, it's so amazing! You know? We may or may not use that. Yes, 2 characters are technically on screen, but that is the only difference. There is nothing unique about these types of characters because they play exactly how every other character plays. Having the other character on screen adds nothing in terms of actual gameplay. I'm not gonna lie, it will probably look very cool either way because the character design team is on another level at Hoyoverse. I don't know how they are able to make such aesthetically pleasing character designs and animations. I mean, I honestly don't get it. But I really hope that they put the time into designing Lyney and Lynette. This can potentially be my new favorite character, and it can be a new fun and unique way to play the game. What are your thoughts on these characters? Did you have the same reaction I did when you first saw them? Did you have that reaction with any of the characters in the Teyvat preview trailer? If you made it this far in the video, why not subscribe? I will be making so much more Genshin content in the future, and just remember, you don't have to believe in yourself. Believe in me. Believe in the me that believes in you, and I'll see you in the next video.